Open Heart, Open Mind. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rosemary Ong. I'm the project coordinator of Satwa Project. Shamisha?
I'm Samiksha and I'm from the Sattva Youth. Bringing Dharma to you and preaching Dharma with youth. Sattva Youth is a Buddhist youth program initiated by the Sattva Project.
Welcome,
Back to you,
everyone, to the
Rosemary.
Satwa channel. Thank you, Shamisha. This is the official online platform of the Satwa Project. First of all, on behalf of our Satwa Project, I would like to express our thankfulness to our StreamYard sponsor and media partners, Durian Asian and Durian FM. Not forgetting the most important person behind the scene, our broadcast director, Brother Chong. A big thank you for your great effort and generous contribution. Would you like to say hi to everyone now, Brother Chong?
Hi everyone, good evening. Thanks for tuning in and joining us this evening wherever you are. Please do like and share our post so that more people can benefit from this very interesting session of Just Sit. And for those of you who are watching later in YouTube, please do like and subscribe. And now back to you guys.
So today's topic will be Just Sit, and this meditation session will be guided by Myong An Sunim.
Just said, so our today's topic title is Just Sit, which is a part of our series called Meditation for World Peace and Global Healing. Sitting quietly at home, spreading love and kindness all around the globe. The outline of our today's session will be as follows. Today's meditation session will begin with a short introductory talk, then we will meditate or sit together, then we will have some questions and answers, and then we will wind up this session with a dedication prayer. So let's have a short introduction of Myong An Sunim. Please, Rosemary.
Thank you. Let me give you guys a brief introduction about Myong An Sunim, a Zen monk in a Quantum School of Zen. Myong An Sunim, usually we call him Sunim, was born in a Chinese family in Malaysia in 1959. He received his education in the UK, culminating with an MBA and work in finance. Myong An Sunim began his meditation practice in 1992 after meeting his teacher, Zen master Song San, in Hong Kong. He was ordained as a monk in 1997 and spent the next 16 years in Korea doing intensive meditation retreats. He received INCA, the authorization to teach Kongans and lead retreats from 2 Zen masters in 2015. Sunim has over 30,000 hours of meditation practice experience. Teaches mindfulness and Zen in Penang and internationally. His teaching approach combines the wisdom of the ancient teachers with the science of meditation to arrive at ways of practice that are well suited to our contemporary lifestyle. Let's welcome Myong An Sunim.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and thank you for the very kind introduction. So tonight we're going to do some short Zen sitting before we go into the talk. And I thought that tonight we might bring ourselves to remind ourselves that things are, when we come to meditation practice, there are many things that perhaps we may encounter that we find challenging or we like a lot and we tend to want to cling to it. So these are both kind of hindrances to our practice. And when we encounter them, maybe tonight one of the things that we can do is just tell ourselves, it's okay. Things are okay. We can always come back to our practice, our breath in this case. So many times we come to meditation practice with some expectation. It's often unconscious, but we do have something that we expect either of ourselves or from the practice. We want something from the practice. So, and when we have that idea in our mind, then when the reality of the practice doesn't match what we expect, we can actually be a little disappointed or we can also feel a little frustrated or maybe even sometimes angry. So that often comes from having certain kinds of expectations which are not met or experienced. So the best thing actually is to let go of your expectations, to come to practice with not having any idea of what this practice should give you or should not give you, and just think of it as everything is okay. So emotions coming up, it's okay. Lots of thinking appearing, that's okay. So it's okay to feel everything, and it's okay to experience anything. And it's okay also to let those things go and just very simply return to your breath. So if you want to use this as kind of a mental note whenever you encounter maybe too much thinking or a lot of thinking or a lot of emotions or strong emotions appearing during our short practice tonight, you can try just saying to yourself, it's okay. Then come back to your breath. Okay? Say it in a quiet and gentle voice to yourself, it's okay. And then return to being aware of your breath. So let's begin. Find an upright position, comfortable, relaxed. Close your eyes. If you want to do this lying down, if you have some body issue, that's also okay. So come into sitting, and note that you're sitting. And start being aware of your breath. And with each breath, each out breath, allow yourself to relax into the sitting, to relax into the meditation. Kind of to sort of settle into it. So wherever you find you're most aware of your breath, whether it's at your lower belly or your chest or the back of your throat or your nostrils, allow your awareness to rest there. Then see if you can follow your breath, the feeling of your breath, the sensation of breathing as you breathe in and breathe out. And that's all you have to do. When you get carried away by thoughts or emotions, and when you notice them, you can gently, with a quiet voice, say to yourself, it's okay. Not judging, not holding yourself to any expectations, and return to your breath. It's okay, and return to your breath. If your mind goes wandering off, even if it's for quite a long while, it's okay. It's totally not a problem because that's how our minds work. So just tell yourself it's okay, and then gently return to your breath. It's totally not a problem. Now, if you want to continue with the Zen practice, you can ask yourself this question. Just drop it in and just let it sit without needing to answer it or to debate it. Just ask yourself, what is this? And just let that kind of sink in like a sponge that's absorbing some water. What is this? And you don't have to hold it or think about it or question it. Just ask the question and just let it seep in. What is this? And you can do this occasionally. Breathing in, we're aware we're breathing in. Breathing out, we're aware that we're breathing out. When you're ready, start to open your eyes. Move your arms, legs, shoulders, and become aware of your room and your surroundings again. So, thank you for your practice. So, when we have a lot of stuff going around in our head, whether it's thinking or emotions, or sometimes even body aches and pains, we often, especially the unpleasant ones, we often tend to focus on it. But when the bell or the clapper for the end of meditation is struck, then suddenly all of it tends to disappear. And this is the experience for most people. And so where did it all go? So this bell and or the clapper to signal the end of meditation kind of wakes us up, and we realize, it suddenly it just goes by itself. So this mental noting, this mental note of it's okay, or you can have your own words if you prefer in your own language. You know, uh, it's like a mini bell, a mini kind of wake up to tell yourself, yeah, it's okay. It's nothing. Whatever is going on is still is going to be okay, and that may help to allow your mind to get a bit of rest or to be able to pay attention again to your breath during the meditation. Okay, so you can try that. See if that is helpful for you in your practice. And if it is, you can continue to use it. If it's not, then don't, drop it. That's what the Buddha said. Use whatever is helpful for you, and not because somebody just tells you to. Not even, some kind of meditation teacher. Okay. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about the meditation tonight. Do we have any questions?
Thank you, Myong An Sunim, for such a wonderful and enlightened session. We really enjoyed this session and hope our audience would have enjoyed it too. Let us see if we have any questions. I think, yes, we have got some questions for you.
Okay.
Okay. So we have first question from Brian Song, and the question
Brian.
is, when when we have discursive thoughts and distracted, can we also just think?
So, hi, Brian. That's a good question. Uh, okay. So, in the topic of title of tonight's practice of tonight's sharing is just do it. So, just think is part of just do it, but you have to be aware of when the the situation, the appropriate situation to when you just think. So, for example, if you're at work or you're studying or you're asked to solve a problem and it involves thinking and you have to think, then yeah, it's very, very important that you just think and you don't kind of distract yourself with other things. Because you're like checking your phone or checking your messages or whatever, because you just need to think on how to solve the problem or to complete whatever work that you are assigned. When it comes to practice, it's a slightly different thing, because what we're trying to do, the aim of practice, is to train our mind to pay attention to to do a very simple thing, which is to pay attention to our breath. And that is very, very simple, very simple act, but actually pretty difficult to do. Even if you ask some Harvard students or even Harvard University graduates to just even count from 1 to 10, count their breath from 1 to 10 in a meditation session. Most of them can, I would say almost all of them cannot do it. So it's not about how smart or intelligent we are. It's actually about training our mind. Our mind is like an untrained dog, if you like. Yeah, I use that example because I have dogs. So it likes to run everywhere. And you have to train it. So this training is to bring it back, like getting your dog to come back to you. And one of the ways that we do it is our breath. Our breath is this anchor to help us come back to the present moment, which is where everything is happening. That's where the reality is. Our mind can be anywhere else, but we are just stuck here in the present, if you like to think of it that way. But that's actually a very, very great place to be, because if you're present, you're alive. You're alive in this moment. So when you have discursive thoughts and distractions, that's stuff that's just going on in your head. It might be very interesting, it might be very fun, but what that's doing is like letting dog run away and run whatever it wants. It goes and sniffs at this, chases after that, does everything. And you're not actually training it. So if you want to train your mind, when you see that your mind is getting into this discursive thoughts during meditation, then that's not what you're aiming to do. So you come back to your breath. Okay. If you're in another situation, maybe you're doing some kind of brainstorming and you're having discursive thoughts, then that's perfectly appropriate to have that. But during meditation, we're trying to do something very simple and train ourselves to do it. And why do that? And the reason is that if we can train ourselves to do this, train our brains or our minds to do this, then we can apply it anywhere. That means wherever we want our attention to go in our daily lives, we can pay attention. Like maybe your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend is talking to you, and quite often we may be thinking of something else. But if you are wanting to pay attention, and you train your mind to do that, you are actually hearing everything they say. Not only just hearing, but you're actually picking up everything: the body language, the tone of the voice, the look on their face, because you're present. Otherwise, you miss all that, getting caught up with thinking. So that's the benefits. That's only one of the benefits. There are many, many benefits to actually being mindful and present. So the answer to your question is it depends what situation you're in. If you're in a situation that requires you to do discursive thinking and to get distracted, then that's fine. But when it's in meditation time, then that's not what you want to do. Okay. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
So Sunim, there's a second
Any other
question
questions?
there's a second question from Jackie Ho. He's asking, just sit. Is it the same with the Zen motto of
Yep.
just do it?
So
No.
this just do it comes from my teacher, Zen Master Sun, and he didn't speak much English when he went to America, and then he just used these short teaching phrases to get this teaching across. So sometimes the American students would misinterpret just do it. So they say, just do it. I go and rob a bank. I'm just doing it. Isn't that right? So then he would say, no, that's not the right way to think about just do it. Just do it has no I. So no I want to go to the bank. You take out this I, this self that the Buddha talks about, there being no self. So just do it means doing it without having an idea of benefiting myself or having yourself in the equation. Okay, so then you see a situation that requires your action, maybe some compassionate action, some kind action, and it may take some courage too. And then you just do it. Okay. Sometimes it may be a scary situation, but then if you don't put yourself in the equation, then you just do it. So just do it is much wider than that. But the important thing is not I just do it. That's why we don't have the I in the sentence. It's just do it. That means without this idea of me in it. Whatever situation needs my help or needs some compassion or what anything, and that depends on your wisdom, then just do it. So just sitting, yes. Just do it when sitting, just sit. So that's just do it. When you're working, then just work. That's just do it. When you're driving, then just drive. That's just do it driving. So that's the simple example. But sometimes you will encounter some more complex things. But if you train with the simple things, just like anything, then you get better at it. Then you can handle the more challenging ones. Okay?
Yeah, but I have another question for that, Sunim. Just like when you say just do it, just enjoy what you're doing. I'm working, I'm just working. Yeah, I'm driving, I'm just driving. Okay, am I happy? I'm just happy. What if I'm sad? Can I just be sad?
Yeah, just sad. You know, if
Just
you
be
are
sad.
just sad, it passes. Yes, it actually passes very quickly. If you're happy, just happy, then you will see happiness and sadness are like, we say opposites, two sides to the same coin. If you don't hold on to your sadness or your happiness, they will come and go. And then, you think, oh, I want to be happy all the time. But actually, when your happiness goes, you get another chance to be happy. Another opportunity, another situation will present itself. But if you try to hold on to the happiness and say, I want to be happy, but somehow I don't feel as happy as I was in the first instant. What's going on? Why not? Something wrong with me, something wrong with him or her, or something wrong with the situation. Then you get into all sorts of mental suffering. Same with sadness. Okay. When you're sad, it's perfectly normal to be sad. We're human. There are things which will make us sad. You will see situations, like sometimes I hear the news, and I start to feel very sad. Sometimes even some tear appears in my eye, because this world has a lot of suffering and sadness, and you can't just say, I don't care, right? Because you're human, so you're sad. But when you're sad, just be sad. And then don't hold on to your sadness. If you don't hold on to it, it will pass. And it's quite amazing. If you are mindful, if you are aware of it, you will see the sadness just comes and goes like a wave, But if you keep bringing it up, why am I sad? I don't like this sadness. Okay, who made me sad and all that? Then your sadness will keep continuing because you're always bringing it up into your mind. But if it just appears one time, and you go, yeah, that's really sad. I feel really sad. Then just be with the sadness, and then it will eventually just go. It will dissipate. So yeah,
Right. Just note it
it's
and let it
okay.
pass. Don't hold on to it.
Yeah, not yeah. I mean, words are very
Easy.
tricky.
Yeah.
No, very tricky because you I say something and somebody else, and everybody has a different interpretation. That's why uh, Buddhist practice is not really dependent on words and speech. It's dependent on your experience, your experience of practice, and you can see the problems that arise when you get hooked up on words. You can see the kind of theistic religions which are book based. Then everybody argues about the interpretation. What is the meaning of this and what's the meaning of that? We have a bit of that in Buddhism too. But the whole point is not the words, but your experience. So when I say something like, just be with the experience, I don't know, maybe you'll get it. But if you practice, then you'll see the point that things just come and go. You don't have to fight it, and you don't have to run away from it. If you are just be with it, it just comes. You don't have to hold on to it either. So don't hold, don't fight, don't run. Then it just comes and it goes, comes and it goes. And when you start to have that kind of experience of emotions, of thoughts, you will hold on to them less. You will, this is a very, very common word that we use in Buddha. You will attach them less. You'll be less, feel less attached to things that appear in your mind, in your emotions, in your body. It just comes and goes. Okay.
Great, thank you, Sunim.
So, but just try. You have to be patient with yourself.
Certainly. Make sure you have a question.
Okay.
Yeah, I just follow up this
Sure.
what Sunim had just said. Is the Anapanasati meditation and this just we did this Zen meditation is this just sit is the same, or does it have any similarity?
Yeah, good question. So Anapanasati and this Zen meditation, Zen style, Zen practice. So, for example, if I go to Korea or Japan, we will eat our rice with a bowl and chopsticks. Okay. In China too, to some extent. In Malaysia, we use a plate and fork and spoon. You go to places like India, then you use your hand. You go to the West, then it's knife and fork. They'll even eat rice with a fork. Okay, so if you're going to say eating rice with a fork is wrong, you should eat it with a spoon or you should eat it with chopsticks, then you're actually fighting over the technique, or you're not fighting but arguing over the technique, which is better, which is worse. And actually, neither is better or worse. The important thing is that you eat. If you're hungry, just eat. Okay, whether you use your hand, whether you use chopsticks, whether you use a fork or a spoon, actually it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you eat. So that's also with different meditation techniques. You have so many meditation techniques, I can't even think of them all. But what really matters is that you actually practice. You actually do it. Just do it. So if you practice, then you get the benefits. It's like, whenever we start 1st of January, we always have some, we make New Year's resolutions, We think, I'm going to go for a jog every day. I'm going to walk every day, half an hour or whatever. Then that's your resolution. Everybody makes that. And the research shows that usually after about 1 month or 6 weeks, everybody gives up. Okay? Everybody gives up. It's not a question of willpower. It's just that's how it is. So it's that, we can talk about it. We can write it down. But the important thing is that we have to do it and not stop. So, what is the motivation for you to practice, whether it's anapanasati or mindfulness or insight meditation or Zen style, wherever it is, they're all different techniques of practice, of eating rice or whatever. The important thing is just to practice. That's all. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
All right.
right.
Do you have another question for Sunim, Samishka?
No, I think.
I think there's another one, Sunim, from myself is that, of course, you have explained that, however ways we get to eat our rice. So it doesn't really matter it's through which kind of technique or which kind of tools that we use. So, um, what do you think about Metta Bhavana, the Metta meditation? Can we combine it together with Zen, or should we practice it differently? Can I mix and match?
Actually, I like metta meditation. Yeah, good question. I like metta meditation very much because I've been practicing for almost 30 years now. And for the vast majority of that, I've been practicing just Zen practice with this big question: what is this? It was only like about maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago that I started to really look more deeply into metta meditation. Some people call it loving kindness, or
Yes.
some people who don't like the word loving kindness, they call it friendliness meditation. But it's
Okay.
basically the same thing. Okay. So I think that's a very, very good practice. If you're doing it, that's your only practice, that's great. If you're not doing it and you're doing something else like Zen practice, then I would suggest making that a part of your practice also, that you do sometimes in addition to your Zen practice. Or certain days you do metta practice and certain days you do Zen practice. Because there are very clearly, scientifically evidence benefits from doing metta meditation. It helps deepen your sense of empathy and compassion. It also
Correct.
helps with a lot of things like your ability to be resilient to stress and anxiety. It also, the important thing is also that it deepens your connection with others, not just other humans, but actually everything, because you start to kind of break down the distinctions that you usually hold between yourself and others, whatever is outside of you, if you can think of it like that. So, yeah, so metta meditation, very, very helpful. In fact, the reason why I didn't do it, I thought, oh, it seems a bit kind of soft, it's not like tough, like, you don't kind of, it's not sort of hard hitting like Zen or something where you ask yourself and you push yourself. But actually, that is kind of that was a misconception I had. Actually, it's a very, very good practice. And if you do it consistently, do it regularly, it will definitely be very, very helpful for you.
So I can do a 10 minutes of Zen meditation, breathe in, sit and breathe in, and
Yep.
then I can do it
Yep.
a short metta before or after that, depending on
Yeah.
the time and stuff, or any time
Yeah.
of the day I can do it separately, yeah?
Yeah, you can do it either. Yeah.
So how?
It's not a problem. I think it's complementary. It's not,
Right.
it doesn't take you away, because the whole emphasis of metta meditation is that you, instead of paying attention to your breath, you bring your whole attention to each phrase as you say it. The phrases are very simple, very general, like may I be safe, be happy, be healthy, may I live well, something like that. Whatever you want to use, but those are the general phrases. And then you bring your attention to that. So it's like instead of paying attention to your breath, you pay attention to what you are reciting. And that kind of, those words have an impact, have an effect on the way that our brain is wired. So I think most of you will know that our brain can rewire itself. It's called neuroplasticity. This is discovered, I don't know, not too long ago, maybe 30, 40 years ago, that depending on what your habits are, your thinking habits, your body habits, your emotional habits, your brain will rewire itself to accommodate those habits. So when you're starting to think, when you're starting to recite to yourself, may all beings be safe, we have, that also encourages your neural pathways to change. Okay, that's
Right.
changing your habits.
That's cool, Sunim. Thank you, Sunim.
Sure.
Is there anything you want to add on for today's session?
Uh, I guess the thing to realize is that um, we tend to expect a lot of ourselves from our practice sometimes, and because it seems on the surface quite simple, but actually when we come to do it, then it seems to be a bit of an effort, and we think, well, either I'm doing it wrong or I'm not really very good at this and I'm not cut out to practice meditation. And actually, that's neither of that is true. It is actually quite challenging because our minds are very, very complicated. You know, like it's got a few trillion connections. I think a Boeing 747 is only a few hundred million. So it's a very, very complicated thing that we're dealing with here. And, uh, and we're trying to make this complicated mind or consciousness, whatever you want to call it, do a very simple thing. And uh, doing simple thing is actually not what we are designed to do. You know, our mind is designed to do all this complicated stuff. So that's why it's not so easy. So when you find yourself having to make an effort in practice, it's okay because that's normal. We actually do have to make an effort into doing something simple that we're not actually accustomed to doing. We're never. I mean, when was the last time you actually had to do something very simple for a long time?
Cannot remember.
Can't remember, right? Everything we do
Yeah.
is very complicated,
Sounds
right?
complicated, even for food.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
and that's the other thing is that we like complicated things. You know, we like complicated.
Or
We
maybe
get very
we complicate things to make
yeah,
ourselves
but
feel
that
better.
also is
Maybe.
that's a hook for us. You know, that's a hook there. So when it comes to simple and it seems like it's a bit boring because you only can pay attention to one thing, which is your breath. So what I'd like to leave you with tonight that it's okay if your mind goes off. Just come back. And the other thing is that be patient with yourself.
Right.
Just be patient. Give yourself a break. Don't be so hard on yourself. Not only in practice, but in life. Don't be so hard on yourself. Period. Okay?
Right. Understand. Thank you, Sunim.
Sure.
Shamisha, you want to guide us through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we are running out of our time. So now, on behalf of everyone, I would like to invite Myong An Sunim to please lead us in a dedication prayer.
Okay, so what I'm going to recite is the four great vows. So you just can put your hands together, please, and just listen to me as I recite it. Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to save them all. Delusions are endless. We vow to cut through them all. The teachings are infinite. We vow to learn them all. The Buddha way is inconceivable. We vow to attain it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all for joining this session with us. At last, please like and subscribe to the Sattva channel and be updated with the coming events. Stay safe, stay happy, and see you next time with some new sessions and talk series. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.